Flowchart completion. In this question type, you need to complete a flowchart with the correct words from the text. First thing, look at the instructions. It will tell you how many words and if you can use a number in the answer. For this question type, you must be able to understand specific details in the text, as well as the order of information. Now, the answers do not particularly come in order, but you need to follow the directionality of the arrows of the flowchart. So the strategies that you can apply for this question type are: look at the word type that is needed in the gap. This is extremely helpful, guys. If you look at what is available to you in the sentence, just before and just after the gap specifically, and try and predict what comes in that particular gap, you will be at an advantage. So for example, I've underlined a total of and were. So whatever goes in this gap is plural, which means that it must be a unit of some kind, and a total of also tells me there could be a number involved. So I'm going to go look for something that deals with a number and following 71 species. So whatever goes in that gap is almost certainly a number and perhaps a unit of some kind. For this one here, I have recorded on a. The data was recorded, and just afterwards, necessary for comparing the information. Immediately, I'm thinking of some sort of instrument. I can't help but think of, for example, the seismology that we use that is used to measure seismic activity. I mean, it's got nothing to do with this, but my brain just goes there. So I'm thinking instrument of some kind, perhaps a graph, and it is obviously a noun. So that's what I'm going to look for. So wherever there's data, that's what I'm going to look for. For the next one, by a dense of points towards the top. Again, it's plural. So dense and points, I think of a group of something, and it's a noun. Number 37, living species. It's an animal for sure, and therefore a noun. The next one, about up the triangle. Up always brings me to phrasal verb, compound, noun of some kind. It's probably a measurement, turned out to be positioned about, so maybe a measurement of some kind, and obviously an adverb. And right here at the bottom, number 39, ancient creatures were. So it's a noun, it's plural, and it's an animal. So now I have an idea of what goes into these gaps. The next step, now I'm spending energy to do this, guys. Spend the necessary energy to try and predict what goes in the gap. The next thing you want to do is you're going to scan the text, and you're going to highlight or circle and underline information that you think might be pertinent to your gap. So you'll look for 71. Look around 71. What do you see? Do you see a number? Do you see a unit? What did you highlight? And see if you find the answer. And you do the same for the rest of the text and the numbers. If you cannot find it, continue. You might find the next one, right? Now, unfortunately, with this particular question, the answers don't come in order. So you have to look through the text quite carefully. And if you don't find the answer for one of the gaps, but you find the answer afterwards, it doesn't mean that this answer is going to be above it. So read it a little bit more in detail the second time round. But the first thing you want to do is scan the text for the information. See what answers you find. You might find them all the first time. Give yourself that credit. And then if you finish the text and you've still got two gaps left, then go and find the particular area in the text, the section in the text that deals with, for example, data, and spend energy looking at that particular part of the text in detail. Remember to check the number of words that you can use and number. So the fact that it says number here, and I happened to find at least one that needed a number, tells you something. It means that there has to be a number there, right? They wouldn't write it if it wasn't going to happen. So look for numbers. And of course, always follow the directionality of your flowchart.